Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dare to Disagree, your weekly episodic podcast where we, local geniuses, tell you guys exactly how to live your life in a perfect manner. There is an echo. But I am your host, Jonathan F. John of California. No, it's not you. It's Puppet Master and his car shenanigans.
There we go, I fixed it. And this is the Low of the Dark.
Hello.
And that is...
Yeah, we found the echo, Mr. Puppet Master.
You there?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
the echo, man.
You there?
Damn.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you, but you have an echo.
I have an echo.
No, you don't anymore. You don't anymore. You fixed it. Good. Introduce yourself.
This is Puppet Master, and as always, my life's still better than yours.
He's
I
very
don't know
proud.
when that's gonna get old. I kind of like that one.
Very proud. All right. Anyway, that's the show so far. Unless others decide to appear, we do have co-content. Maybe even a mysterious appearance by Snow Chemical once he's done plowing our collective mothers. So,
Wow.
hey man,
Best way to go.
I'm just stating the facts.
Hey, quick question, with Puppet Master. What is the zip code for Baltimore?
21215, I believe.
Gate,
Okay, there we go.
or go that way.
Trying to remember, there he is. What's his name's? Oh, it didn't work. Anyways, I want to take my topic first, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Figured. Go ahead. No.
So, there's a particular group that I want to bitch about, okay? And it's one that especially, I don't know if it's always been, but at least in current times, has been one of the whiniest groups I have seen practically anywhere, okay? Now, I know a lot of you are thinking Tumblr, but no, it's not Tumblr. It's actually veterans group.
Oh wow.
Yes, it's in here somewhere.
There we go. Let me fix that problem right there. Okay, veterans groups have been some of the whiniest fucking groups I have seen in my goddamn life. Okay? Now let me explain why I say that. And this is coming from me being a veteran, a bunch of my friends being a veteran, Jonathan Esther being a veteran. When I go on these groups, I sign up to a bunch of groups because a lot of them do a lot of good things. I mean, a lot of them you'll see doing like suicide awareness things, you know? Hey guys, 22 veterans of, was it a day or something like that? Kill themselves. You know, make sure you're looking out for your battle buddy, this and that, give them a call, make sure everyone's doing good, blah, blah. So they do good things pretty often, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But something I am seeing a lot is these same veteran groups going through this rhetoric where it's like, God, guys, I am so happy I have you because society just treats us poor veterans so poorly. And it's just, you know, if I have you guys in my corner, it lets me fight on for another day.
Jesus.
And this isn't just like a post I saw. I mean, it was coming through like every day to every other day for weeks on end. Just, hey guys, how do you guys deal with this? Just being treated like you're the dredges of the earth and blah, blah, blah. Being, you know, horribly, you know, taking how the America just doesn't care about you, this and that. And I mean, I'm going to ask you, Jonathan Esther, how do you get treated by Americans in America being a veteran?
Dude, I get so many free drinks, I don't know what you're talking about. Just a week ago, as a matter of fact, I happened to make the mistake of wearing a camouflage shirt to a bar. And because once you're Marine, you get that walk that occasionally sneaks in if you feel threatened, somebody spotted it, and out of nowhere, I had 3 beers and a shot.
Exactly, man.
If that's a terrible life, I don't know what they're talking about, man.
And here's my thing is that's not even really limited towards, I mean, just you kind of think of like old, middle-aged people doing that stuff. No, I've had all the way down to like high school kids. They find out I'm a veteran and it's immediately, thank you for your service. Like, you guys don't even understand what
What I did.
but they're still putting forth effort, man. You know, like, I haven't had any real experiences with people treating me poorly. I've had a couple people go, I just don't think the war in Iraq's the best thing in the world. I understand your point, okay?
Yeah.
But I've never had anybody go, fuck veterans.
You know
Okay?
what? You know what's the funniest part to that statement? Now that I think about it, the only time I've ever been treated crappy for being military, and it wasn't a foreigner, was another military member. It's like at the Veterans Affairs Office, I got into a little bit of a tussle because of that. And occasionally, when I run into an Air Force person or an Army person, it becomes an issue. But aside from that, everybody else treats me great. So I don't know what they're whining about.
Yeah, I mean, and Veterans Affairs is one I brought up specifically when I was talking to some of these guys about it. Yeah, the VA sucks, okay? Everybody understands that. But so does practically every public program the U.S. has.
True.
Just another one of the. It's not sucking because it hates veterans. It's just shitty because we have a shitty government. We have corrupt fucking politicians. They can't build fucking a good public program. They're all fucked up. Veterans Affairs, the VA is not particularly worse than any of them, you know?
Yeah, true.
They just all fucking suck. But even then, and something that bothers me is there is so many people doing shit that they don't need to for veterans. I mean, how many places do you see with the military discount? For me, it's practically more than has it that doesn't.
Hey, don't you get your weed at a military discount?
Actually, it's funny. I've been quoting that story to people that this guy I know lives in the America where he gets a discount on his weed for being a military member,
But even,
which is a great America if you ask me.
even like little fast food restaurants, mom and pop places that are already struggling to survive, all these little places do that shit, and you know what? They don't need to. You know, that's just something they do out of the kindness of their heart. Then a bunch of companies give veterans preference. If you're a veteran, you have a better chance of getting hired. You know, they don't need to do that. I mean, other than the federal job, but even the federal ones, I mean, I don't. To me, that's not anything you have to do. You know, it's nice that you do it, but it's not something you have to do. I mean, I just really am not able to figure out. These guys are pretending like they're the Vietnam veterans coming back and getting spit on by fucking civilians back in the U.S. This shit doesn't happen. It's
Not at all.
I mean, I remember when we came back from Iraq, or when I came back the second time, okay? There was still people, and I want to say this was 2006 or 7, something like that. There were
6.
still people waiting in the airports to shake our hands 5 years after the war kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
Every fucking airplane that came back with the military on it, there was like 100 fucking people waiting there to shake their hands as they came off the plane. People don't need to do that. They don't need to take time out of their day to do that shit. They're just there to do a little extra, to greet these guys, to let them know that they give a shit. Where this whole thing is coming from, where veterans are just so poorly treated by society, I have no fucking idea. I mean, even it goes down to homeless people, okay? I see a sign that says homeless veteran. At the end of the day, you're both homeless. I don't care about the homeless veteran more than I care about the homeless person. But America does. There's a whole bunch of programs specifically for homeless veterans that the other people don't fucking get.
Now, I have a theory. And my theory is that it's greed. Because in my experience, the military members I've met who make that complaint make it over some really tiny things. Like I know one who has made that complaint about the fact that he went to a job positioning and was extremely annoyed he didn't get the job when he should have gotten military preference. Now, I made the point to point out to him that first off, just because you get military preference doesn't mean you qualify. And second, we live in a high concentration of veteran area.
Yeah.
Another veteran could have got it. You don't know that.
There's a bunch of losers like you that just can't get away from the fucking base.
But basically, the only thing I've seen where somebody has had that kind of complaint has been in the sense that they wanted an advantage that they didn't really, well, you could say they earned it. They were in the military, but they didn't really need if they were properly ready for this job anyway.
Here's my issue with that, okay? In my opinion, if you actually took advantage of the resources the military give you and learned to use the training and the experience that they give you, you should have that advantage innately. That should already be part of you because you received all this tens of thousands, up to hundreds of thousands of dollars of training from the government. You got all these leadership skills. You got all that. I mean, it's a great way to jump up without even considering that you're a veteran, just off the skills that you get. Yeah, if you're a fucking bag of shit and you didn't do anything, you probably need just somebody to give you 5 points because you fucking signed a contract. Big fucking deal. If you actually took advantage of the resources, you should be able to have that fucking preference anyways, just for being better from the experience, you know?
Yeah.
It's just...
You're not going to find a lot of argument from me, man. I agree with you. I don't know where that... I've seen that complaint occasionally. Not to the extent it sounds like you've seen it, but again, I haven't been online kind of searching for it around.
And here's another thing, okay? And this is a even more difficult topic, okay? Surprisingly enough, okay? And that is, you guys have heard that, you know, there's ship mobilizing, stuff like that. There's true, you know, boots actually be put in the ground. In these fucking places we're hearing shit, Syria, Iraq, this and that. Some of the inactive reserve guys are being activated, shit like that.
Yep.
So I see this, and I saw it a number of times before, but this is the first time I saw like a administrator post something about it. And it was guys who were, according to their fucking status, severely disabled. We're talking like 80% disabled due to PTSD or shit like that, who now that they hear the war's kicking off, suddenly want to get that shit canceled and put back to active duty. That makes it a little hard for me to believe that you really rated that disability. If out of all jobs, I mean, this is saying you're 80% disabled, okay? 80%. That now you think you're capable of rejoining the military and going to a combat zone? I guarantee you wouldn't have said that shit to your VA doctors when you were getting that status. Oh yeah, I feel like I could go right back into a combat zone. They're going to give you an 80% disability when you're ready, fucking willing to go back in there? And, you know, don't get me wrong, if you deserve the rating, fucking take it. Out of all the shit that the government spends my money on, I would love every penny of it to go to a fucking disabled veteran, okay? My issue is I know for a fact many people went in there and bullshitted their way through to get a fucking status. Get something so that they could have a freaking paycheck for the rest of their lives, which to me is ridiculous. I totally think you should have a paycheck for a while. You should get settled out for what your injury is. I mean, what other job do you get workman's comp for the rest of your life, no matter what your fucking injury is?
On that level.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know, people who get it. I know a Marine who has a huge disability paycheck for nothing that happened to her in the military. It was shit that happened to her before she joined. She joined, came in, got all these fucking statuses for shit that happened to her as like a kid, and now she's getting a paycheck for the rest of her fucking life. Jeez. I don't understand how that's the military's responsibility. You get broken, and now we have to pay you?
Well, you know, here's the thing. There are civilians. There are civilians that are getting disability for the rest of their lives too. So it's not job specific. It's our government specific. Are still supporting people with disability for their entire lives, just like your vets. But your vets have done something just a little bit more to actually rate that.
Some of them.
Some of them.
When I was getting out, I had nothing. Okay, is there some stuff that I could have claimed, my stress fractures, some of that stupid shit? Yeah, but number one, it wasn't very favorable to me. Number two, I feel 100% capable. I haven't had any issues at any jobs. I'm fine. I've had no problem fucking sustaining myself. Okay.
Yep.
But when I was getting out, number one, they harassed me for like 2 weeks straight, telling me, if you don't put claims in, it's going to be really hard once you're a veteran. If you're not active duty, if you're active duty, it goes in right away. If you're a veteran, you're backlogged. You need to put these claims in. And I had to tell them over and over again, there's no issues. I don't need any disability. Just let me fuck go. And people were acting like other fucking guys who were getting out with me were acting like I was some sort of idiot for not trying to get some. Come on, I mean, you're telling me your knee doesn't bother you? You don't have any ringing in your ears? A bunch of.
Hey, Morty.
If somebody gets their fucking leg blown off, a doctor could come and say, "Yeah, dude, your leg's missing." Okay. If you tell a doctor there's ringing in my ears, there's no way for them to check it. I could have told them I have ringing in my ears. They can't go in there and no, you don't. Look in my fucking ear.
Actually, they can now. There's a test for that.
They couldn't before, because I knew one guy who faked his way.
No, but now they can, and they're going back and retrograding that.
I fucking hope they do.
You know what's actually funny? I actually had a legit thing I could have claimed at the time. I went through the exact same experience of people like constantly telling me, but I told them, I was like, this is a temporary injury. They were like, well, you don't know that, but I was like, I know it's a pretty temporary injury. You guys remember when I injured my knee?
Yeah.
Yeah, that lasted for a while, but eventually it ended up be what they call it, psychosomatic issue, where basically the memory I didn't actually feel the pain, but I
phantom limb syndrome.
Yeah, I favored that knee constantly.
Yep.
So it took like a couple of sessions with a psychiatrist, and eventually, like now, I have no pain. But for years, at one point, I was like, I would sometimes need a cane. That's how bad it got. And I really could have claimed that, but at the time, I remember thinking the exact same thing, watching people around me just kind of bullshit their way into like getting so much money, and I would just sit there and go, it doesn't sit well with my conscience.
I knew one guy who got 70% disability because he said he woke up some nights after like nightmares due to PTSD. They didn't send a doctor to his house to see if he really woke up. He was telling other guys, this is what you got to tell him to get your rating. 70% disabled due to PTSD. Okay, I had a conversation with one guy, another 70% disabled people. I guess that's the fucking golden number. And I remember talking to him because he said it happened due to when he was in Iraq, okay, some combat action. And we were sitting outside just bullshitting, and he said something like, so did you ever get your car? And I was like, yeah, that's your combat action ribbon, okay? Practically any little incident you encounter, you'll get a combat action ribbon, whether it's, small arms fire, IEDs, this and that. Any enemy action, you'll get that. And I said, yeah, I was a convoy security. We got hit with a whole shit ton of IEDs. I got it pretty quickly. He's like, it pisses me off because I almost got mine because the post I was standing came under fire one time, but I had dental that day, so I missed it.
What?
What the fuck? And I wasn't going to ask because I wasn't really wanting to be in this conversation in the first place. What the fuck are you 70% disabled for if you never even
seen combat
that close? Did you watch Active Valor with the volume too loud? Like, what happened? that happened. 70% disabled, man. Like, there was a senator who talked about having her arm blown off.
Oh, yeah.
Patched, and, like, a number of her fingers didn't work anymore. She was, like, fucking 60%. He's more disabled than that chick due to PTSD for reasons unknown. Did somebody rape him out there? I don't fucking know. Okay.
Could happen, man. It got lonely.
But then don't get if the person fucking needs the rating, I am totally 100% for it. Okay? My thing is, it's really hard for me to look at those fucking ex-fucking Vietnam fucking Desert Storm guys, or our own fucking, Enduring Freedom, fucking, what's the other one? Iraqi Freedom. Guys who lost legs, hands, guys who were fucking got their backs busted and they could hardly walk anymore without a cane. It's hard for me to go look at these guys and then go, yeah, sometimes I can't fall asleep at night. What are you gonna give me?
Yeah. I mean, they're guys we even mock in our environment. A certain rodeo clown comes to mind that we mock quite frequently, and that guy absolutely deserves his combat action and his rating, because he did get blown the hell up, almost lost a foot. So despite all the mockery I give the guy, he earned it. But I know a Navy corpsman that just got out, never saw action, spent his entire time on the boat, 50%. 50%.
I don't know,
and
man.
And you're right. It is a really dicey topic because it's one of those topics where I'm glad / not glad you brought it up, because it's one of those topics where I always wanted to address it, but I feel like it's one of those issues, if you address it, then you're going to have people that are going to swing in the absolute wild portion, and then someone who actually needs it won't get it.
Yeah.
That's the greatest fear with addressing something like guys, we need to fix this, but can we not do what we always do, which is to wildly overreact in the opposite direction, so that people that might actually need this, people that might actually need this, all of a sudden can't get this. We talked about this with like the gun debate and stuff.
It's almost like the women, the few women who make a false rape claim and send some guy to prison for a fucking decade over some shit he didn't do. It's almost like that situation, because if the chick really got raped, you don't want to fuck with her. You don't want to say, well, are you sure you didn't want it? You don't want to be that fucking guy, okay? But it's really horrible when some guy, nobody questions it, and some guy gets sent to prison for fucking, the prime of his life and treated like a fucking rapist for 10, 20 years. And everybody just assumed it was good. That's kind of the issue here. Do I want to risk an actual injured veteran not getting the care he needs to stop these fucking clowns who are just trying to get a free paycheck for the rest of their life? Or do I just want to let it be that fucking loose so a bunch of these assholes will scam the system, and now that actual injured veteran gets to wait in the VA in a huge line that everybody's going to bitch about behind all these fucking assholes who are just there for the fucking free juice boxes and shit,
So I guess the ultimate question, and I'd have to start with Puppet Master here, is how do you fix it? Puppet Master's gone.
Pretty much the response.
It is okay. What about you, Alone in the Dark? How do you fix it? Because I know Cold Conscience has joined us, but I'm pretty certain he won't have a response for it, so we'll move on without him. But how would you fix this issue?
Dude, here's my thing, because I dealt with workman's comp after I left the military. That was one of my jobs. I was I can't remember what they titled me as, but I was like the first responding workman's comp thing, setting up everybody's paperwork, detailing the little, shit I could see at the scene, like what injured this guy, what fucking went wrong, et cetera, and then a real investigator would come behind me and clean it up. It wasn't my job to confirm or deny shit, It was just taking the original, there's a forklift here, dude got his fucking pallet slammed down on his foot, the pallet was here, blah, 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 this is what I see, and then somebody would come at it. Even though it sucks in that situation, because a lot of the times those workman comps investigators are not just looking for the truth, they're looking to deny a claim. And that's not what I want, What I want is somebody who's going to objectively look at it and go, hey, this guy's saying he's fucking 80% disabled because of his knees, but here he is fucking being a rodeo clown, or fucking, working out in the gym, doing deadlifts, doing fucking squats, shit like that. Maybe we should look after this shit. And I don't think, and I'm not just saying the military, I think very few issues need to get a free paycheck for the rest of their fucking lives. It just makes it too sweet. I mean, even if it's a little paycheck for the rest of your fucking life, you know, most guys get out of the military, what, 25?
Yep. Oh my God.
In the U.S. is 82.
That's
So
a long time to drain the system.
yeah, even a fucking $100 paycheck. That's a lot of fucking money.
So I'm guessing what you're basically saying in this conversation is the real drain on the economy are the veterans, and we should get rid of them, is what you're saying.
You should kill them. Yeah. It just, I don't think a lot of these guys who are pulling this shit are really understanding when they pull this shit and then go online and bitch about how the VA is letting veterans die. It's not just the VA, homie. You're one of the ones letting these guys die too. You're the one ruining the care for the guys who really fucking need it.
Yeah.
Those guys who need it, I'm 100%. If that fucking money was in the trillions of dollars, I'm fine. If we're able to spend trillions of dollars to send these guys to war, we should spend it to fucking take care of them afterwards. Okay? That's totally fine with me. You know what I mean? If they came to me and said, we're raising your taxes, all of it's going to veterans, fucking do it.
As long as you know it's legit, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole lot better than you giving it to Walmart and Apple like you guys have been doing. You know? Go give it to these fucking guys. But when they're letting these guys get in the system and be in the real injured guy's way, that's what disgusts me. And I think a real big, shiny example should be is if another war kicks off, there's more money to be made, and all of a sudden these disabled guys are pounding down your door to be a fucking prior service reenlistment. That's a pretty big sign that you're fucking full of shit.
All right. I think that settles that pretty much. We agree that's fucked up. All right, moving on. So I wanted something a little more lighthearted. Something that I'm happy Mr. Cold Conscience is here to join. And my topic is real simple, right? This topic came to mind because you, Mr. Alone in the Dark, are a very interesting individual for me. Now, for people that don't know, Alone in the Dark has an interesting past. You know, this guy's he's had a couple of interesting jobs, some car related, some stair related. Definitely had interesting experiences in both, and has had interesting experiences with knives and death.
I mean, you know, don't we all though?
Which brings me to my topic. I'm really interested in Cold Conscience's portion. And I was gonna say some horrendous story that you shouldn't be alive after, right? And I figured I would go first to give you guys an example. That's why I'm happy that you're here Alone in the Dark, because I know you got a couple, and I'm really interested to hear what Cold Conscience had to say. But my story is real simple. I was driving a couple of years ago down the 5, which is our main freeway, and the area I was driving is called Camino de Estrella. Now, y'all don't know where it is. It's just kind of a location for people who do. But Camino de Estrella has 5 lanes, and then there's a 6th lane when you get close to the exit. Like another lane kind of manifests so you can take off at the exit, right? So starting from the left, which is, we'll say because I'm coming south, that's the carpool lane, all the way to the 6th exit, which is the actual exit. I was on the 3rd lane driving down. And I was driving down on this day in my 98 Nissan Sentra, which was my fucking baby. As Alone in the Dark knows, man, that thing kept up with his truck on a fucking mountain. Yeah. That shit was beautiful. Anyway, so I'm driving this. It did. I'm driving this fucking car on the freeway, living my life, loving everything. And for a little while, I'd had an issue with the horn, but I just assumed it was a wiring issue until, as I'm driving to this exit, and it's a slight curve, like maybe like a 20-degree curve on that road. And as everybody, I don't know if you guys know, Alone in the Dark will testify, freeway speeds in California average at around 80. Yeah. So this slight curve going at about 80 miles an hour, I'm about to pass that turn, and I'm on the 3rd lane when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my steering wheel comes off. Now, I later found out what happened, which was the steering wheel is held down to the actual, what's it called, steering column?
Yep.
Yeah, the steering wheel is held down to the steering column with a nut. So basically, You put the nut on, you screw it down, and the steering wheel is between the nut and the steering column, and it stays down. But there is a clip called a C-clip, which, again, Alone in the Dark is familiar with. And this clip is there specifically to prevent shit like this happening. Some fucking motherfucker had fucked around with a steering wheel before and taken that clip off. So when that horn wasn't functioning, that was the steering wheel getting loose over time, but it wasn't getting physically loose. It was just coming off. And for some reason, it wasn't loose or shaky. It was just coming off. So eventually, when it had to come off, it just yanked right off. So I'm going 80 miles an hour in the third lane of 6-lane traffic at a 20-degree curve when my steering wheel comes off. There is a thing called gallows humor.
How hard did you try and turn that wheel?
Oh, dude, no. I straight up did the dumb movie thing where I looked at my column and then looked at my wheel and had that oh shit moment. Now, there's something called gallows humor, right? And what it comes from is back in the old days when people would be led to get hung, right? People would laugh and make jokes and sometimes play around with the crowd before dying. And some people got really confused with it. And what it turned out was people experiences and faced death a couple times, they find things funny. This Alone in the Dark again understands because we had this experience when a bomb blew up in front of us, where our entire truck started laughing for no reason, but it was really part relief, part fear, and really funny, to be quite honest, because we'd been talking about getting blown up like 5 seconds before the bomb went off. So all of these ended up being funny. But anyway, steering wheel comes off. I'm going 80 miles an hour. And split-second thinking, I look at the steering wheel column, and when I look at it, it's in kind of a rectangle shape. So I get the idea if I put the steering wheel and kink it at an angle, it'll catch the column. So it won't let me steer all the way around, but it'll let me steer a little bit. Oh, I should probably add at this point that the car is a manual. This is kind of important too. But anyway, so I kink it, and I'm laughing like a maniac at this point because in the back of my head I'm going, if this is how I die, I just hope they figure out what happened so they can laugh too.
Just your dead body holding.
Just holding with a smile on my face. Just like, motherfucker. But anyway, so I kink it, and I kind of manage to control it enough not to turn, but to not take the 20-degree turn, so I'm driving straight now instead of turning, which means I'm slowly merging out of the lane, and ended up not like the exit to the next exit was like a 3-lane exit because it's a big exit, and it's one of those 3-lane exits that's so big it even has a breakdown lane. So I ended up in that breakdown lane and pretty much just put my steering wheel back on, screwed it on, and drove home.
How many of those Californians tried to fight you as you were freaking changing lanes?
I got lucky because the cars were mostly on the left. I cut off some dude, and I felt really bad about it, but fuck, I'm not dying. So that was my story, but that was the kind of story I was going to ask. Do you guys have a similar story, I know Alone in the Dark does, about potentially a moment you should not have survived? Cold conscience first, please. You are not being heard, Cold Conscience. I don't know if you're on mute.
He's not on mute. You just look at him.
Something's going on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, but we're hearing you very, very little. Can you talk a lot louder? There you go. All right. Talk.
Okay, I have a shit on mute. Anyway, I didn't know if that would use if that's where you was gonna go with it. I can't really think of a time. Though I live in Baltimore City, so anytime I step out the house, I'm probably fit to fucking die. I can't think of one. Let's see, have Alone in the Dark tell his story, and then, well, he fucking got up and left. Well, when he comes back, have him tell his story, and then I try to see if I can think of a story. But I'm pretty sure no one will be able to top his fucking story that he had. So I'll probably come up with a story now. So. You know.
All right.
I have one that I think you might not have heard, Jonathan Esther. So it's actually pretty.
Go ahead.
So this one time we were out dirt biking. Okay. Now anybody who rides pretty regularly, like gets pretty decent at it, will know you are sending those bikes flying off practically every bump in the road you can. Okay. The longer you could get those things with both wheels off the ground, you fucking do it. Okay. Those things are just so incredibly agile. It's a blast to do it. You will jump these fucking bikes higher than you would ever imagine you would. You know, you're like 20 fucking feet in the air coming down, riding it out like it's nothing. Okay? So this one time, we were at this one part, and it was pretty cool because it had this big fucking dam out the middle. So you would ride along the riverside, and then there was a dam, went down a good 100, 150 feet, okay? And then went where the water ran off at, you know? Really beautiful area. I can't remember where it was. It was somewhere in Northern California, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're riding there, we're riding all around this and that, and somehow I got separated from the group. If I remember right, my bike went down. I had a two-stroke motorcycle, and a lot of times those things would foul the spark plugs, so you'd have to pull them out. You'd always keep a spare on you because it would happen at random fucking times. Just pull the spark plug out, put a new one in. It was like a 5-10 minute process. You were good to go, you know? So I think that happened to me, and I had to change out the spark plug. So the rest of the group just, you know, we'll meet you right back at camp. We were close enough. Okay, you guys go ahead. I'll get this thing repaired and meet you guys in a second, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Get it repaired, and I'm racing along, taking a little different trail, you know, just trying to find some cool stuff to do, this and that. Heading back, we were gonna have lunch. It was a good time, you know. As I'm going down, I get near the river, and at this point, I had kind of lost track of where I was, you know. I knew where to go to get to camp, you know, to where to get to the main trailhead to get back to camp. But where exactly I was at the time, my sense of direction is fucking garbage anyways. Didn't really know, you know? So we're going along, and I hit a couple decent fucking jumps going there, you know? Do a couple jumps, they were landing perfectly, everything was going good. And I come around this corner, and there was this part where it went down, the trail went down, hit a little bit of pavement, and then there was a fence lying like just below a 45-degree angle, okay? Perfect fucking ramp. And I was like, damn, look at this. You know, I'm kind of seeing it as I'm coming through the trees. This is beautiful. Look how perfect of a fucking ramp that is, right? Took off, and this is when I had a big 500cc two-stroke motorcycle. That was the Kawasaki you saw when we were out riding, Dave.
Yeah, the one that broke your leg, huh?
Yeah, that thing was a freaking beast. Okay, they don't make many bikes over like 250 cc's and two-stroke. Okay, this was 500 cc's. It was a freaking ridiculously powerful machine. Took off hauling ass to make this jump. Okay, as I'm going, a couple things hit me. Okay, number one, I see paint in like. It was really fucking worn off, but I see paint kind of going in a circle on that pavement pad I'm about to race across, right? Mm-hmm. So I see that, and I'm kind of going, what is that? You know, but whatever, I'm about to make my jump. I'll figure this out later, you know. As I'm pulling up, I realize, you know, I can't see the ground, but whatever, you know, it's probably a drop. There's been a bunch of drops on this thing. It's cool, you know. Get right over towards the fence, and I realize there's a fucking problem because I still can't see the ground. I'm going pretty fast at this point, okay? That thing took no time to accelerate. Slam on the brakes, and the good thing was because it was a chain link fence, those grabbed onto the knobbies of my tires, slowing me down a lot faster than I normally would have, okay? But the front rail still went off the edge of the fence, and it turned out I was at the dam. There was a 150-foot drop into the fucking reservoir right in front of me.
God damn.
Jesus
Christ. This came to a stop, and almost the entire, like, the roundness of the wheel was already off the thing. And I'm just, like, digging my boots into the fence, pulling back, holding onto this fucking bike. The bike stalled because I didn't have time to freaking grab the clutch and stop the fucking properly. So the engine's off, but now I'm sitting here just holding this fucking 280-pound motorcycle as it's over the edge, wanting to roll forward down this fucking fence line. And another issue is I was planning on being on that fence for, a half a second as I jumped off it. I don't know if this thing could hold us. It's 280 pounds of motorcycle. I was just a teenager at the time, so I was probably about 145 pounds. That's fucking over 400 pounds of shit on a fucking chain link fence, an old one. What that turned out to be was a helicopter pad, which is why the fence was laid down so the helicopter could land and not fucking hit its rotors on the fence. So I was stuck there for probably about 5-10 minutes, okay? Until finally I got the bike backed up just enough where I laid it down on its side on top of the fence, got off it, and then pulled the fucking thing off the rest of the way.
God damn.
So that was a really close, as I'm just sitting there, staring down a fucking ravine into a reservoir, just waiting for, is this fence going to break off? Am I finally going to lose traction with my boots? If my boots slip off this little square I'm on, we're going, So, yeah, that was not one of my more intelligent moments, especially looking around and realizing, what the fuck did you think this fence was for?
So wait, I got a question. What was the paint?
It was because it was an H, it was all worn off, the big helicopter symbol.
Oh, gotcha.
Around it, there was just a circle, and you could see part of the H left after I got the bike off there. I looked to see what the hell it was. That's when I realized it was a helicopter pad, finishing the design that was there. But Jesus, man, that was, because I'm not particularly afraid of heights, but I try not to fuck with them terribly much. You know what I mean? That was a pretty fucking harrowing experience right there. And I've dropped that motorcycle off fucking mountainsides a number of times. Okay? Most of the time it just rolls down to like the handlebar digs into the ground, or it hits a fucking tree or a bush, this and that. I don't think it would have been okay falling that far into a fucking reservoir, So that's my story, man. What's yours, Mike?
Honestly, bro, I've been playing it fucking safe all my life. I really don't have a story where it's like that I almost fucking died because I just used common sense before it fucking happened. I'm like, you know what? That might not be a good idea. And sure enough,
how's that possible? When I was in Baltimore, I got shot at. Well, almost shot at.
Well, because
me and Slow Chemical had to run in a zigzag pattern away from a guy we thought was the DC sniper. And it turns out at the time, we thought we're just being cowardly. It turns out it was a good thing we did that, because that van was looking for someone, and they ended up killing someone at like a cookout like the next day.
I mean, well, I've never been, usually when shots are happening, I've never been actually in it. I mean, one time when I was a kid, like 13 years old, a guy rolled down the street. We was all playing football. Like, as kids, we just stay out late, like, 2 o'clock, sometimes till the fucking sun comes out. We're like 13, 12, should have no business being outside. Usually I would go in to watch Monday Night Raw or Thursday Night SmackDown at the time. But I think I was like, fuck it, to stay outside. This one dude rolled down the fucking block, and we all sitting around, we're playing football and shit like that. So, we got to wait for the car, and this motherfucker just hops in the car like, I'm going to give everybody 5 seconds to get the fuck off this block. So it's one thing, like, we all look at each other and we haul ass. I'm not sure if he shot at us or he shot in the air, but I think he shot like maybe like a few times in the air. We was like, what the fuck? That's not really a I almost died type thing. It was just like, oh, it's Baltimore, shit happens.
I don't know if that does qualify as a almost died type thing.
No, but I can tell you the time I almost died. It was one time when I got my fucking permit. Like, on the first few days of getting my permit. And for some reason, this dickhead lets me drive. I'm sure if you might know who it is. Lets me drive his black PT Cruiser from his wife's job all the way to his house. And we rolled up on a fucking curve. That wasn't really dying either, but we almost died because the cops having to pull right the fuck up. John Vester, you want to That's a pretty funny story, ain't it? Pretty funny story.
It's a hilarious story, really.
Hilarious.
It's one of those stories about having faith in humanity and being disappointed as usual.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one time I was mad at this girl. I hit the corner really hard. I took the fucking Jeep off on 2 wheels. But as far as me, God, I really have no stories. Honestly, that's that. Like, I have close calls where like I might have been injured, but no close calls with like I might have died. You know, like with like, God damn, that's really close one. At least not that I know of, dog. Honestly.
We need to get you out of Baltimore while it's still that way.
Yeah. I mean, then again, it's a little bit one like an on-spot type thing. I'm pretty sure when we get on PlayStation, I probably will remember something. But as far as that, prior to the time that we went fucking surfing and Dave almost fucking impaled me with his fucking surfboard, even though I didn't know I was about to die, I just would have died.
In hindsight, I should just let you know, everybody almost gets impaled. It happens to everybody.
No.
Oh, I do have one part in story that you guys might not have heard. So, I don't know if I ever told you guys. Did you guys know that I was in I don't know how I don't know what you would call it. It's not a civil war, but when I was a kid, we had this thing called a ville morte.
Oh, a genocide.
Actually, kind of yes. To be quite honest, you're not wrong.
You talk about Africa. That's pretty much what they do. You know?
Yeah, they killed a whole bunch of an opposing party, but the way they did it was civilized for what it was, which was they kind of called everybody and told everybody a day before, like, if you're on the streets tomorrow, you're gonna die.
Damn. So
we weren't on the streets, as you might imagine, because it was just me and my mother at the time, so we weren't on the streets. But what ended up happening is some of the gunshots had messed up like a power supply somewhere in my neighborhood, and our house was the closest, and these huge sparks from the power supply were landing in and around our house. So our house was about to catch fire, which meant we had to go outside. You know that place we weren't supposed to be?
Yeah.
I'm surprised your mom went with you. I'm surprised she wasn't just like, Dave, get out there and clean up those sparks.
Yeah.
Get those sparks off the patio. Hurry up.
Nah. This was back when she was actually really cool. No. You guys met my mother at a weird time, man. She was a really cool lady for a long time before all that. But what actually ended up happening is she took me to our neighbor's house and then proceeded to run back in the house over and over to get like our emergency stuff, like our paperwork and stuff like that, just to get them out in time. But I remember, like, of course, I'm like 7, 8 at this point, so a lot of stuff is being hidden from me. But I remember the next day, the news showing some of the people dead from it, and they were shots of the street 2 blocks away from us, and just bodies all across the floor.
Jesus.
Well, I guess people didn't understand the same style, Paul, did they?
Well, no. Those were the rebels. Those were the people that were going. You know, those were the fuck no, we're not gonna do what you're saying type shit.
Oh,
They ended up learning a lesson. But yeah, that was a story I thought you guys might not know. That's another time that kind of almost went bad.
Damn. Those Africans, man. I don't know what to do with them, dude.
But what are you talking about? You've been hanging out with Hell's Angels and shit. You got the same ass experience.
That was my mom, man. I was just...
Yeah, he actually hung out with the Howard Patrolman.
Dude, I didn't have any decision making.
This dude's history goes Hell's Angels, cops, military.
Yeah.
Seems poetic.
Proper escalation.
Yeah, dude. I don't understand how that situation helped itself either. You know, I keep getting like tidbits of information. Like whenever I meet like a family member who I haven't seen in a long time, and they didn't tell me shit when I was a kid, because, I don't want to say nothing to a kid, you know. Now it's like, yeah, your mom, dude, when you were a kid, she didn't listen to nobody, and she really should have listened to everybody. Her making decisions on her own was not the best fucking plan in the world, you know?
There it is.
There it is. All right, I think that's about it. I don't know if you guys got anything, but I wanted to end on the most light-hearted note this show can end on.
Yeah.
Us almost dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had some good times though, Dave. I remember like driving that truck down the mountain and
Yeah. I remember driving the truck down the mountain, almost died. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. My life exponentially became more endangered immediately after I met Alone in the Dark.
I remember we'd be in Iraq and be like, okay, we should go do this shit. Dave would be like, no, man, no, we shouldn't do it. Like, okay, let's hold a boat. 3 hands up, 3 hands down. All right, we're going to go do this shit. Let's go
These
do
motherfuckers wanted to throw grenades inside a room. They were smoke grenades, but still, fucking grenades.
It turned out all right.
Barely. He's telling you that shit like us getting out of there was not a whole Mission Impossible movie.
Hey, man, I could run pretty fast at the time. Not so much.
That shit, or fucking I still tell people the story of throwing a freaking box of 50 caliber weaponry ammo into a freaking fire.
Yeah, that was good times too.
No, it was not. No, it was not good time.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun out there. Like I remember one time we were driving. It wasn't with you. It was who was the guy whose his wife's name was Gina? Damn, I can't remember his name. But he was a Mexican guy, and we were driving down to that same dump, and they had all kinds of vehicles, aircraft, shit like that out there. And me and him were driving down there just to throw some stuff out. And as we're going, like I had the window open, and I see one of the jets that are out there that's just waiting for disassembly. I'm like, look at the thing. I wonder if the windows on that thing are bulletproof. So I pulled my pistol and started shooting at this thing. That guy almost crashed the fucking truck, man. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, hold on. I want to see if this thing breaks.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what it was like riding around with Alone in the Dark. Here's another story for you guys. We're driving around, and Alone in the Dark gets in an argument with someone else that he can't put a military Humvee on 2 wheels. Which I have experienced Alone in the Dark putting a Jeep on 2 wheels on an incline going pretty fast. Because my wife doubted him, and she ended up throwing up because of that shit. So I'm in the car telling these people, please don't fucking egg him on. Don't ask for him. Please don't make him do this. Of course no one listens to me. They fucking dare him to do it in the middle of Iraq on a convoy run, which means we are in enemy territory. He proceeds to put the vehicle on 2 wheels, shut everybody up, and the second we get back to base, they ban us from driving.
Hey, man, that shit was it was sick when it lasted, though, man.
I'm just pissed because I was like, I wasn't even the fucker driving. He wasn't. They were like, y'all are a pair, fucking your band. It was ridiculous. Like, they kept, for some reason, they just lumped me in with him. Like, when they came to kick his ass, they also had to kick my ass on the side because of his ass. Like I did shit.
And these, ladies and gentlemen, are people who are protecting our fucking freedom.
Yeah.
You don't even know the half of it.
So every time you see a Marine, every time you see a Marine, it's like, God damn, he fought for our freedom. I see Marines now like, look at this dickhead.
You know what's funny? I do the same fucking thing.
Especially in the California, I'm just like, look at these dickheads here. God damn.
I'm not gonna lie. Going to a California club where there are Marines or military in general is.
I can't voice my disgust enough.
It is hilarious.
It's funny because Alone in the Dark told me, ladies and gentlemen. Alone in the Dark, he's like, yeah, we get up there. The Marine problem is, it's a problem because they just keep hounding bitches. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. Sure enough, one girl might just spill just a little bit. 5 Marines come over. No, motherfucker, I'm buying drinks. God damn it! Just like I buy a drink, next thing you know, you turn around, you look like, damn, where'd she go? She's grabbing her friend. Them bitches are out the club.
Just
Fuck
like
that noise.
they came and we're fucking leaving, man.
Fucking
That's just because we didn't go to the right bar, man. There were girls with way lower standards.
I mean, no, the girls of Ohio stands apparently lowered their stands for a black guy. Shit.
Well, that's because that's a rarity out here. That's like filet mignon. They don't get it often.
Oh, well, that shit. Let me jump right on in. Be the main attraction.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, let's start wrapping this thing up. Parting shots, Mr. Alone in the Dark. Any parting shots?
I got nothing, man. I got nothing.
All right, Mr. Cole Constance, parting shot.
Fuck Bill O'Reilly.
That works. That works. And my parting shot is, hey cops, I know you motherfuckers love judo. Stop flipping kids.
Yeah.
Stop fucking flipping kids.
He flipped that
It is
like a fucking
unnecessary. You can't be no freaking 6-foot dude throwing around a 4-foot person. That's just a little ridiculous.
And then slid it across the floor like he was mopping the floor with it.
Yeah.
God damn.
And
What the fuck is going
don't
on
get us
here?
wrong. Us here on the show understand how loud of a mouth a black woman could get, okay? But still, if we can't throw them around, you can't throw them around, okay?
All right, fair enough. On that note, I've been your host, Jonathan Esther out of California.
This is Alone in the Dark out here in sunny Colorado.
Puppet Master.
That is true. That is true. You're the de facto puppet master.
Yeah.
And that's the show.
All right.
See you fuckers
Next
time.
week, as per the usual, we will see y'all.